Mister.
Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is Lapka for Circuit de la Sarthe with a Nissan Nismo GTR GT3. Let's get this started. Take the first turn at full throttle and brake well before you reach the first total sign. Because you're going at such a fast speed, you'll be doing some trail braking as you approach the first apex. Go at full throttle in between the two turns, and when you approach the second turn, go at half throttle, and once you're clearing the turn, you can go at full throttle again. Brake in between the track you just passed on the right and the path ahead of you that's also on the right. You can do some trail braking over here to get your car closer to the inside of the curve, and then you can start to fully accelerate when you're almost done with the turn. Start to brake around here. You want to do a very quick tap on the brakes and then go at half throttle through the apex, and once you're confident that you can continue on without going off track, you can start to fully accelerate. Start to brake just barely after you pass this photographer here on the left. You'll be doing a lot of hard braking over here, and once you approach a turn, you can let go of some of the braking to let your car turn. You'll be doing even more braking as you approach the next turn, and make sure you straighten your car before you start to fully accelerate. Brake just barely before you reach the 100-meter mark. You'll be doing the same thing as the last chicane. You'll be braking hard, release and brake a little to let yourself go through the turn, brake even more, but with the exit, you'll be accelerating just a little later so that way you don't risk losing control. Brake just barely after you start to pass the start of the curve that's on the right. You want to brake as much as you can because once you start to turn, you'll be releasing the brake a little bit to let yourself turn. Once your car is pointing towards the next straightaway, you can start to fully accelerate. Brake for a moment before the green area on the left ends. You want to do just a little braking so you can get to this turn without any problem. Don't cut in too much so you won't get the penalty. You can then accelerate for a short moment before you need to brake again for this turn. For this turn, you want to try to get as inside as you can without going over the curbs, and then straighten your car out, and then you can start to fully accelerate. Brake before you reach the 50-meter mark. This should give you enough space so you can make it through the turn, and then you can fully accelerate once you're pointing towards the straightaway. Brake before the green area on the left ends. You want to be very careful about how you accelerate. You want to accelerate very slowly so that way you can stay on the right side. If you go a little too wide, you can compensate it by letting off on the accelerator once you go through the next turn. Briefly brake for a moment here so that way you can get through this turn cleanly. In between turns, you can briefly go out full throttle. For the next turn, you need to do some throttle control to stay as inside as you can. For the next turn, give a quick tap on the brakes and carefully accelerate your way through this turn. Once you're almost done with the turn, you can fully accelerate. Start your brake before the path that leads towards the pit stop ends. You want to ease off on the brakes once you start going through this turn. Get your car in the middle and start to brake before you pass the start of the curb that's on the right. You can take advantage of the curbs here, but try not to get too greedy, otherwise you'll end up with a penalty. Once your car's straightened up, you can start to fully accelerate. And that's all for the guide. Non-commentary versions coming up, but anyways, hope you found the video useful. This is Mr. MCA, the world's most okay player, and I'll see you in the next video.